Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tony Tone, the Chess Salsero. And, guys, today I want to talk about a very important aspect of a game of chess, and that is simply this: the coordination and the maneuvering of your chess pieces are our goal in this game. And I'm going to show you several games here, is to find a way to have all of your pieces work in some sort of, a harmony, or and find some sort of, you want to try to find the best squares for your pieces to improve the chemistry and the harmony of your pieces through the coordination of them together. Basically, this is teamwork. We're going to talk about developing and the development of your pieces, which is paramount in creating the initial setup of your piece coordination, and eventually down the line you'll learn how to have your pieces work together. I mean, teamwork makes the dream work, right? I can't stress that enough. A lot of times, a lot of beginners, they go out and they use that big old uh, beautiful, powerful queen, right? And they want to just go attack, 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 attack. But that's a major, major mistake against somebody who knows how to play the game of chess. You can beat somebody with that queen if you're playing somebody who's a novice, who doesn't really understand the principles of chess. But man, a really good player will use all of their pieces to their advantage to checkmate you. And they do that through the coordination of their pieces and maneuvering them in such a way that it creates a connection, a chemistry of your pieces that will lead to an eventual, checkmate down the road. So what I did was I put together 6 different games here in my little chess library, and we're going to go through different games here, including one of my own. We're going to go through the games of former world champions, okay, like Vishy Anand, an Indian grandmaster and previous world champion, the current world champion Magnus Carlsen from Norway. One of my own games against somebody here, which I just played a few days ago, and of course my favorite, to me the best chess player in the history of the world, the only American world champion, Robert or Bobby Fischer. Um, my favorite chess player in today's world, which is Hikaru Nakamura, which is a blitz and bullet phenom. This guy is just a beast, a monster. He actually just had a massive chess tournament with Magnus Carlsen, the current classical world champion, and defeated him by 1 point in the speed chess championship, meaning they played a bullet game 1 minute, they played a 3 minute blitz game, excuse me, and a 5 minute blitz game over a 3 hour time period, and Hikaru came out on top. The guy is just incredible, the two best in the world. And of course, the legendary Garry Kasparov, the Russian the longest world chess champion in the history of chess, Garry Kasparov. And so let's start with him. Actually, we're gonna go down from here up, and I just chose these games, randomly. We're gonna go through their games, analyze it really quick, and I want to show you how these grandmasters think. I want to show you how they coordinate their pieces, and I'm going to explain and break down some of the things that they're doing. Guys, I want you to understand, if you are a beginner, this is going to go be probably over your head, but that's fine. You're going to learn chess terms. You're going to have a little more insight into how grandmasters think. Not me, but grandmasters. I try to emulate the grandmasters because they're the best, right? You want to emulate somebody who's really good or really great or gifted at whatever field that you're in. And these guys are certainly that. So this guy, Garry Kasparov, the former world chess champion, is playing another for a former world chess champion, the 12th world chess champion after Bobby Fischer back in 1972. And his name is Anatoly Karpov. They had a massive, several massive chess tournaments where they fought it out, and Kasparov came out on top. So let's go through this game real quick. I'm going to break some things down, not the entire game, just I'm going to point out key moments of the coordination and the maneuvering of their pieces that creates this harmony that I'm talking about. So Kasparov is white. This is the Ruy Lopez opening, or the Spanish opening. It's a famous opening that is played at the highest levels of chess, meaning the grandmasters, the international masters, and the world champions. It's a deep study into just this one opening out of so many openings in chess. So right now, I want you to see this. They're still in the development phase, heading into the middle game. And now Gary wants to push his pawn forward to d4 to try to open up the position or even close it, attacking this knight here on c6. But I want you to see this. Every piece, excuse me, is protected. Every piece is protected. Now, these two are not developed yet, these two here. But as the game goes forward, look at this. Protected, 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 meaning they're defending each other. You want to find ways to place your pieces on their optimal squares where they have the most power. And this is only gained through time, practice, and experience and seasoning. You're not going to understand this and get this right now if you just started playing chess. You have to play a lot of chess to learn how to do all this. I mean, protected, 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 protected. They're all working in harmony. Protecting each other. He's moving this out so he can push his pawn forward. I'm assuming. Look, he comes here to re-protect this pawn, which is the base of this pawn chain, which is also protected by this rook. I mean, this is beautiful. What does he do? He attacks this pawn twice, but it's defended twice. So he gets this knight out of the way to stop him from attacking this pawn. So he has to move out of the way. He can't attack this pawn because it's protected by the pawn on c3. You see how all the pieces are working together? It's teamwork. They're all protecting each other. Look at this. Knight comes here to g4. It's protected by the queen and by the pawn. So it cannot be taken by his queen on d7. He gets this out. Typically when they do that, they want to push his pawn forward and create a pawn break here on the f-file. Protected. He sees this square here, so he can grab that pawn if he moves it forward. He didn't. He's doing this here to create a pawn break because this center here is so strong for white. He takes it. Now, this is defended once and twice already and attacked one time. You got to do the calculation. So his bishop on c2 does no longer needs to protect that pawn on e4. It creates, it puts itself on a better square or even better diagonal heading into the black king's position here on the a2 g8 diagonal. So another thing I want to mention, guys, is I did a video on good versus bad pieces and active versus inactive pieces. And your piece activity is so important in helping to create this coordination and harmony that I'm talking about with your pieces. I mean, look at white's position. Black is kind of hemmed in back here, but white, look at this, has all this scope, semi-open file, has all of this here, attack, attack, attack. They're all defending each other. They're all working in concert with each other to create more pressure on the black army. This protects his pawn. This knight. The queen's protected by this pawn right here. All right, so we're going to continue forward. He takes away this square here for this knight on e6 to go to the g5 square. Why? Because it could push out the queen here on f3. So it notices that, and it pushes it to deny the jump of any of these knights to come here to g5. What does the queen do? He attacks this pawn that's hanging. Hanging meaning it's not protected. So what is he going to do? He says, okay, if you take this pawn, I control this semi-open file here. Look at this. Protected, protected, protected. All the pieces working together in harmony. He takes, he has to push the knight out. The queen cannot take the pawn on d5 because it's defended 2 times. That would be a massive blunder for black. He has to move out the way, attacking that pawn twice, but it's defended twice. So he really can't take it. Interesting. Look at this, further protecting it. Guys, I mean, this is just, this is the epitome of the coordination of your pieces by a former world champion. The knight hops here to f5. It's protected, it's protected by the queen, which is protecting this knight. This rook is protecting this pawn. This rook is protecting this bishop. This bishop has an option to go to either diagonal. This sets up what's called a discovered attack. This is nasty right here. So he protects the knight, right, from the queen taking it. But if that queen doesn't move, this knight could hop right here, take the h6 pawn, check the king right here, and have a discovered attack against this queen that's hanging on d7. Beautiful. These are called tactics. So what does the rook do? It has to come back to defend this queen in the event that knight sacrifices itself. So, I mean, look at this. It's just beautiful. He puts his bishop on a nice diagonal. It's protected by the pawn on f2. It's protected by the knight on e3 on f5, and this is just beautiful, guys. Eventually, I'm not going to go through the rest of this game, but you can see the piece coordination, the piece activity, the harmony, how he's maneuvering his pieces to gain certain advantages. Guys, this is what you're going to learn as you get better and better and better and understand this game at a much deeper level. I want you to understand that it's not about, I did a video on this as well, it's not about memorization. It's about having a deeper understanding as to what you're doing and the principles inherent in the position that you find yourself in. And chess is so dynamic that the amount of positions you're going to see on a chessboard are literally infinite. It's just ridiculous. This is why I love this game. It's never-ending knowledge. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our library, and we're going to pick a different game from my favorite current grandmaster today, Hikaru Nakamura. And again, all we're going to do is not going to go through the entire game, is look at the piece activity, the coordination of the pieces, and how he uses them together to gain little advantages throughout the game. We're going to open up. He's developing. Okay, I want you to see already. Look at this. Protected, 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 protected. Everything is protected, even though these two are not developed yet. He takes, boom. He puts it here because, look, he's protected by this knight. Even if he takes this knight, he's protected by this pawn. They're all working together. So he pushes him out of the way. He says, get out of there. Either take me or get out. He gets out. The knight could take him, but he's protected twice by a bishop and a pawn on e3. Protected by the knight, the queen, the king. He develops the piece. He has scope now. The knight cannot move here. The knight on f6. Can't hop there. Beautiful. Look at this. He hops to this square here on b5, attacking his bishop while being protected, again, by his own pieces. The bishop on e2. Coordination is beautiful. Boom. All right. So, better square. He controls the square here, which is attacked twice, but it is defended 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then the knight comes to a nice, the f3 square, where it's protected by the bishop. Even if he's attacking the bishop on c3, but it's protected by the knight on b5. Gets out the way. He takes. Interesting. So this is a knight sack. He's sacking the knight to get an open diagonal here from G, where the bishop here is on C5 all the way down to G1. He takes. Boom. He interrupts it. He knows that, look, it's 1, 2. It's attacked 3 times, but it's defended 1, 2, 3 times as well. And in that situation, when it's a tie, you don't attack because you'll lose that battle. I'm attacking the bishop right here that's hanging on c5. I'm attacking the queen. I'm basically telling you, get out of my position. He gets out. Again, protected, protected. The knights protect each other. Protected, protected. This is the only piece that's hanging, the bishop on b2, but it's okay because no one's attacking it. There's no influence on that bishop whatsoever. It's not in trouble in any kind of way. Now he made a major mistake right there. This is called a blunder. He moved that back to a wrong square on the c7 square where it's not protected, it's hanging, so he loses it, and then that ends the game. All right, so we're going to go to our third, Bobby Fischer, our third game. We're going to check out what he did here. To me, this is the best player in the history of the game. Again, that is subjective. Everyone has their own favorite player, but to me, he was the strongest grandmaster, the guy who had the biggest will and passion and desire to win. The guy was just, he was like the Michael Jordan of chess. And then he proved it. His talent, his gift, his desire, his will, his work ethic, everything. The only grandmaster, the only American grandmaster. He did all this without the help of anybody. He didn't even graduate high school. The guy was a prodigy and a genius early in the game. I'm going to do another video just on Bobby Fischer. They've made many movies about him. The most famous is Searching for Bobby Fischer with Lawrence Fishburne, and it's my favorite chess movie. But the guy, man, he took on the Soviet contingent under the backdrop of the Cold War between Russia and the United States back in the early 1970s, and defeated their world champion Boris Spassky in an epic match called the Match of the Century. Again, that's a whole other subject. Anyway, so I'm going to continue on. See what Bobby does here. Look what he does here. He's already protecting this knight. Knights always protect each other if they're close enough to each other. He adds more protection for this pawn here. He castles. He prevents him from coming here, with that knight hopping down on the g4 square. So, I mean, every piece is protected. Every piece is working in harmony. He gains more space with the pushing of the pawns. When you push pawns forward, you gain more space in the enemy position. I can't stress this enough. Those pawns are deadly if used correctly. Because what they do is they can never move back. But when they move forward, they just continue to gain more space and take away space and territory from your opponent. A space advantage, and I'm going to do a video on this as well, on the different types of advantages in chess because there are so many. A space advantage is to me, one of the top 3 best advantages to have in the game of chess, other than just material. All right. So he hops here, and it's protected by the rook. He gets this knight out of the way. If you notice, everybody, with the exception of this bishop, and you know what? If you have a hanging piece, the hanging piece is okay. Hanging meaning it's free to take, but no one is threatening to take it. No one is threatening to capture it. There's no threat to the bishop on e3, so it's okay that it's there, behind all of these pawns in the white camp, because it's not being threatened in any kind of way. If it were, that'd be a different story. But now he protects it like this. This is called the battery on the diagonal. Beautiful. Look at this. He sets up a skewer. This is beautiful. So he pushes his pawn to b4, and if he takes it, he opens up a line for the bishop to come to b6 to skewer the queen to the rook. So he's going to gain a major advantage, and he does just that. He takes the rook, then he takes the pawn, which is still protected by the queen, all in harmony, all connected. He can't take it. If this pawn were here on d5, you'd have a double attack from the bishop and the knight here on b4, but it's not. So I mean, just you can see what he's doing, man. This is beautiful. Anyway, all right, guys. So I'm gonna go to the next game here. I'm gonna go to my game, one of my games here that I played just recently, and let's see what I did here. You guys are starting to notice a pattern here, guys. All these different games, different people. It's all about the coordination and the maneuvering of our pieces through piece activity and creating that, that teamwork aspect. All right, so I'm playing black. I start the game out. The Caro-Kann defense. Castle. I mean, protected. Everybody's protected. I have a little fort here, so nobody can come in my little space here. This is why you castle your king. Look at this fortress. This is a fortress. I take that knight, get out of the way, re-attack it. It's protected by the queen and the bishop. I hop here to c5 with the knight, which is protected by the bishop, attacking his bishop. So he moves it out of the way. I centralize. I'm putting my bishop to go through the middle, heading into the king position while being protected by the pawn on b7. I attack his bishop because I'm protected by mine. He takes. No, he doesn't take. Okay. I take him. He takes. I protect the knight here that was previously hanging. Here we go. I'm opening up the file. I'm attacking his queen, sorry. I'm doubling up on the rooks, on the F file. Again, everyone is protected. Look at all my pieces. They're all protected. I come in here, a hop, attacking his queen, which to me, I want to get rid of this bishop because it heads into my camp here. So he takes it, I take, which is backed up, by the way, by the bishop. So he's attacking the bishop. I come back, and now I attack his knight, which is defended by the queen. But this is a good move because it puts me on this fifth rank. A rank is a row is a rank, where I can attack his queen or even put it here on the H file to take up all the spaces here to stop his king. I know, from maneuvering. So I'm attacking his queen. He thinks that he can come here and checkmate me, but he can't because my queen is protecting that square. But it's a massive blunder, and he puts it on the wrong rank, and I actually take his queen. Anyway, he's going to take me, but the rest of the game is really nothing. It's a double attack on the knight and the pawn here. This game is over for him. So I'm going to show you another game here. Magnus Carlsen, the current world champion. Analyze his game really quick. All right, so this guy is considered already to be probably the best chess player in the history of the game. I kind of disagree with that. He is a great player, no doubt. He's a 5-time current world champion. No doubt. The guy's great. He's incredible. He's great at blitz. He's great at rapid. He's great at classical chess, Fischer random chess, bullet chess, all the time controls. But to me, he's in an era where he has so many different advantages that the old grandmasters didn't have, like computers and social media, chess engines, YouTube, computers in itself. So that's a major advantage for him. But he's still a great player. Anyway, so we'll start out here, e4 opening. This is dangerous. Knight is protected. Taking up more space in the Enemy position. Knight development protected. Moves the king out. Interesting. Instead of castling. So it's called castling by hand. So if this knight hops here, it's going to attack the rook, which is hanging. So what does he do? He blocks it, and there's a double attack on the knight from the bishop and the knight, but there's a double defend on the same knight. He takes. Interesting. I'm wondering why he did that, to open up this file here for the queen, probably to attack the king. So he has to take, get out of the way. Double attack on his pawn. Again, protected. The reason he can take this pawn here for free is because this pawn on d4 is pinned to the white queen. Get out the way. Again, everybody's working in harmony. So now he has a mate threat right here on h2 with the lineup of the queen and the bishop. So he takes a hanging bishop. Queen comes in. He moves out of the way. He blocks the attack. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. This game is basically over. He picks up another piece. He protects again. He's protecting the rook here. Everybody's working teamwork in concert together. He's double attacking this, which is a great move. The problem is he could just get out of the way, and now 2 pieces are protecting this bishop. 3 with the king included. He takes, and now look, he still defends his bishop from being pinned to the king. Again, this is all piece coordination, teamwork, and everybody protects each other. None of these could take this bishop here. Why? Because it's protected by both the rook on a1 and the king. Takes, forces the queen out, moves out of the way. Little king hunt right there. Attacks the queen. He's still up 3 pieces, so he can give one away. So I'm going to go to the next and final game, and that is another great world champion, Vishwanathan, the only Indian Grandmaster world champion ever in the history of chess from India. And again, we're just going to go through this really quick, and let's just see the piece coordination. That's the Ruy Lopez opening, the Spanish opening again. I know I'm going through this kind of fast, guys, but I mean, look at the pieces. Protected. Protect. Well, he's not protected, but he hasn't developed yet. Nobody could hurt him. He puts it here 1 square up because he's protected twice by the pawn and the knight on d2. So even if he takes it, look, now he triple protects it. Beautiful. He just puts his bishop, he develops his bishop, to open up the center. If he doesn't take, he's going to create a fork on this knight and this bishop with that pawn on d4 moving to d5. So he has to take, but it doesn't matter because he's protected twice. That's my point. They're all working together. Look at this. He wins not the exchange. He wins the little battle. Why? Because he got compensation for everything that he lost, because everything was protected through piece coordination and piece activity. Again, protected, even though it's attacked by the rook on b5. So he double attacks it. Let's see what he does. I don't know. He moves it out of the way. I mean, this is beautiful. It's just, again, harmony, chemistry, pieces working together. Look at this. He stops this. He could have came here. Oh, sorry. He could have came. My point is he has an influence on this diagonal, which is great, which heads through the middle. So what does white do? It says, no, I don't think so. I'm going to challenge you. So I want you off of this diagonal because I want to control these dark squares. And why can he do that? Because he's protected by the knight and the rook on the e-file, and it's just harmony. Now he triple protects it because it's double, triple attacked. The reason that happened is because that knight moved out of the way. It hopped to g5 from e6 and opened up the e file to triple attack this bishop on e5. See? Let's see what happened. Look. He comes and he reattacks the queen. All these guys are doing, guys, is they're maneuvering their pieces. You're going to learn this as you get better. They're moving pieces here and there, little areas, little spaces, trying to find any small incremental advantage that will lead to a bigger one that will create some sort of mate threat, a mating net even for the king, some sort of advantages. Chess is about accumulating so many little advantages as long as possible and maintaining that and creating new ones that will lead to an eventual checkmate in the end game, or even in the middle game. And you do that through, again, piece coordination, maneuvering pieces, piece activity, and creating this chemistry and harmony with your pieces. Boom. This rook here is protected, if you can't tell, by the queen. The queen on g4. So even if he takes him, the queen will take the rook back. And now, again, he double protects the rook by bringing the knight to e3. Guys, again, this is just an example of what I've been talking about. Guys, another thing you want to do is make sure you do what I call is a recon. What is a recon? You want to check every single move that you make. This is very important. Check every file, every diagonal, every row and rank, every square as quick as possible where you can find a threat, a capture, or even against you. You need to do what's called a recon. They do that in the army. They do a reconnaissance to check the area for any danger. Well, that's what you're doing in chess. I call it a recon. It might be called something else, but you always want to do a recon check to check for any hanging pieces, any threats or captures for yourself or towards your opponent. And it'll give you what's called better board vision down the line. And again, this is all, once you put it together and the coordination of the pieces and maneuvering and all this, it will make you a much better chess player. All right, guys. So that basically is it. For you beginners out there listening to this, I know this is a little over your head. I completely understand it, but replay this video, watch my other videos. Please follow me and subscribe if you can at chess.salcedo27 on YouTube. And you can also follow me on Instagram on the chess_Salcedo. And I hope you guys learned something, guys. Practice. Always study your games after you finish, whether you won or lost, especially if you lost, to find out what you missed by doing recon checks and, finding the best squares for your pieces or files or diagonals or rows or ranks, and creating that piece coordination that I'm talking about that will get you to a better understanding level and a better chess player in your chess development and journey. So thank you guys for watching. This is Tony Tone, the Chess Salcedo. I am out. Peace.